A bank account, apply for a job, register for college soon. You'll need an official ID to do any of these things. Don't drive? Don't worry. You can get a non-driver state ID, and it only costs about $10. But in order to get an ID, there are a few things you'll need, and we're here to help. Go to nyc.gov and click on or search ID to get started.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Hola, me llamo Ana y trabajo en el Departamento de Asuntos al Consumidor. A veces puede ser abrumador para administrar su dinero, pero los centros de poder financieros de la ciudad pueden ayudarle a tomar control brindándole asesoramiento financiero profesional, gratuito e individual, ofrecido en toda la ciudad en diferentes idiomas. Nuestros consejeros pueden ayudar a reducir su deuda, preparar un presupuesto, abrir una cuenta bancaria segura y mucho más. Visite nyc.gov para encontrar el centro más cercano o llame al 311 para pedir una cita ya.
I'm Fatima Sharma, Commissioner of the New York City Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. New York City is home to people from more than 190 countries. They're our neighbors and co-workers and an essential part of the fabric that makes us the greatest city in the world. My office helps immigrants make New York City their home. In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, we continue to work to make sure that immigrant communities affected by the storm have access to services that will help them recover and rebuild their lives. To learn more, visit nyc.gov or contact 311.
You're listening to Radio NYC.
Brooklyn Bridge Park keeps getting better. Hi, I'm Regina Meyer, president of Brooklyn Bridge Park, and we're thrilled to welcome visitors to the brand new Pier 5. Come play on our 5-acre sports field, barbecue on grills at the Picnic Peninsula, or take in the breathtaking views of Lower Manhattan from the promenade. There's more to come later this year when the Pier 2 sports courts make their debut. Check out brooklynbridgepark.org or call 311 for further information. Can't wait to see you at the park.
Hola, yo soy Adrienne Bailón. Tener una identificación oficial puede ser clave para tu éxito. ¿Quieres abrir una cuenta bancaria? ¿Solicitar un trabajo? Vas a necesitar una identificación oficial para hacer cualquiera de estas cosas. Puedes conseguir una identificación estatal para no conductores y solo cuesta $10. Pero para conseguir una identificación hay unas cosas que vas a necesitar. Visite nyc.gov y busque ID para empezar.
I'm Rob Walsh, Commissioner of Small Business Services.
And I'm Terrence Holliday, Commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs. Our veterans served our country, and we are proud to serve them.
If you're a veteran or a veteran spouse looking for a job, stop by the Workforce One Veterans Center at 60 Madison Avenue in Manhattan, or at any of the 15 centers in all 5 boroughs. We work with businesses committed to hiring veterans, which means we have jobs for you. For more information, call 311 or visit nyc.gov.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Home is the one place we all expect to be safe, but each day over 1,000 New Yorkers report an incident of domestic violence. Hello, I'm Commissioner Yolanda Jimenez of the Mayor's Office to Combat Domestic Violence. Victims and their children don't have to suffer in silence. If you or someone you know is a victim of family violence, help is available 24 hours a day in all languages by calling 311 and asking for the New York City Domestic Violence Hotline. In emergencies, call 911.
Hello, I'm Taxi and Limousine Commissioner David Yaski. Did you know that New York City taxicabs are required by law to take passengers anywhere in the 5 boroughs, or to Westchester or Nassau County, or to Newark Airport? In fact, a driver can't even ask where you're going before they accept the trip. So if a taxi driver refuses to serve you, call 311 or visit nyc.gov with the license or medallion number. With your help, the TLC is here to make sure you get where you need to go.
Hi, I'm Rob Walsh, Commissioner of the Department of Small Business Services. Figuring out what permits and licenses are needed in order to start and expand a business in New York City can be a challenging task. That's why we created New York City Business Express. It's a free one-stop website where business owners can access the information they need to open up shop. You can apply online for many permits, settle outstanding fines, and find incentives to lower the cost of doing business. Visit nyc.gov or call 311 and ask for NYC Business Express.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Soy Iris Jiménez Hernández, vicepresidenta de HHC, su sistema de hospitales públicos. Este Día de las Madres, dele a su mamá el mejor regalo, una cita para una mamografía. En HHC ofrecemos mamografías a muy bajo costo o sin costo durante todo el año. Visite nuestro sitio web o marque el 311 para el hospital público más cercano.
Hi, this is New York City Transportation Commissioner Jeanette Sadekhan. For most New Yorkers, our 6,000 miles of streets are our front yards, so we're doing everything we can to make them as safe, attractive, and as sustainable as they can be. By keeping our roads and bridges in good repair, building new public plazas and bike lanes, we're creating world-class streets for a world-class city. Please help us keep our streets safe and smooth by calling 311 to report potholes and other traffic concerns in your neighborhood.
This is Carter Strickland, Environmental Protection Commissioner for New York City. Every day, 9 million New Yorkers rely on DEP to deliver 1 billion gallons of the world's best drinking water to their homes and businesses. Renowned for its purity and taste, our tap water comes by gravity from the Catskills, 125 miles away, making it the right choice for your health and the environment. Look for our New York City Water on the Go fountains throughout the 5 boroughs and learn more about New York City's water supply at nyc.gov. New York City Water, the right choice for the environment, your health, and your wallet. This is Carter Strickland, Environmental Protection Commissioner for New York City. Our restaurant scene is one of the best in the world, serving millions of New Yorkers and tourists every year. If you run a restaurant or food service business, remember to properly empty your grease traps. Pouring grease down the drain or into a city catch basin is illegal and can cause significant costly sewer backups. For a description of grease regulations and information regarding proper disposal methods, visit nyc.gov.
You're listening to Radio NYC.
What better way to get some outdoor exercise than rolling up your sleeves and helping care for Brooklyn's Prospect Park? Hi, I'm Emily Lloyd, president of the Prospect Park Alliance. Volunteering at Prospect Park offers many exciting ways to make a difference in the lives of all who benefit from the park. Individuals, families, students, and retirees can all have fun and learn something while helping the park. We provide the training and equipment. You decide how much time you can spare. For more information, call 311 or go online to nyc.gov, and I hope I'll see you soon in beautiful Prospect Park.
Hi, this is Sanitation Commissioner John Doherty. Please use street litter baskets for your candy wrappers, fast food containers, empty coffee cups, for everything except recyclables. Remember, never use litter baskets for garbage from your home or business. That's not what they are there for. Above all, don't litter. For more information on how you can help keep New York City clean, call 311. Let's work together to keep our streets clean.
Hi, this is Vincent Schiraldi, Commissioner at the New York City Department of Probation. Did you know that state law prohibits unfair discrimination against job applicants with a criminal conviction? Did you also know that the city has taken special steps to ensure that job applicants with a criminal conviction are treated fairly? It's true. For example, there are many job postings where city agencies are prohibited from asking about an applicant's criminal history before or during the first interview. So don't let your past define your future. Consider applying for a job with the city or one of our hundreds of partners. To find out more about what this change in policy means for you, visit nyc.gov.
Hi, I'm Rob Walsh, Commissioner of Small Business Services. If your small business was impacted by Hurricane Sandy, the city is ready to help. We have an emergency loan providing up to $25,000. We can also help businesses apply for federal assistance to up to $2 million. And there are other ways we could help. If your business has been displaced, we can set up free temporary space. And we could also assist in answering insurance questions or replace permits lost during the storm. For more information, go to nyc.gov, call 311, or visit a business solutions center located in any of the 5 boroughs.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Hi, I'm Seth Diamond, Commissioner of New York City's Department of Homeless Services. Homeless Services can connect you or someone you know who is at risk of homelessness to the DHS Home-Based Program, our one-stop for homelessness prevention, or one of our free law offices. We have over 30 service centers located in the 5 boroughs. To learn more about community-based prevention services that can help New Yorkers prevent eviction and avoid shelter, call 311 or visit nyc.gov.
Hi, I'm Deputy Mayor Carol Robles Roman. New York City is the safest big city in the nation, and we're leading a fight against human trafficking, a terrible crime where people can be forced or tricked into working in harsh conditions, often for no pay. If you are a victim or know someone who is, call 911. For more information, call 311 or go to www.nyc.gov. Let's call an end to human trafficking.
This is Sanitation Commissioner John Doherty reminding you to leash and pick up after your dog. Be considerate to your fellow New Yorkers when walking your dog in the street or in a park. Obey the Pooper Scooper law and avoid a $250 fine. If we all do our part, we can keep New York City clean. Remember, be a responsible pet owner and always pick up after your dog.
I'm Kate Levin, Commissioner of the Department of Cultural Affairs. New York City is the creative capital of the world. Throughout the 5 boroughs, residents and visitors benefit from an extraordinary cultural community that includes more than 700 theater and dance companies, 650 galleries and museums, 96 orchestras, 24 performing arts centers, 5 zoos, 4 botanic gardens, and 1 aquarium. So take in an exhibition, see a performance, or visit a historic site. There's something for everyone, and it's all just around the corner.
You're listening to Radio NYC.
Hello, this is Commissioner Jimenez from the Mayor's Office to Combat Domestic Violence. People with disabilities are more likely to experience violence at the hands of an intimate partner. New Yorkers with disabilities should not feel alone. Support is available. In New York City, all victims of domestic violence, regardless of their language, immigration status, or disabilities, are offered services to help them regain control over their lives. If you or someone you know is being abused, please call 311 for help.
Hi, this is Dr. Tom Farley, New York City's Health Commissioner. One thing that all New Yorkers can do for their health is to know their HIV status. If you've had sex even once, you should get tested for HIV. If you're HIV positive, you can get medical care to help you feel better and live longer. If you're HIV negative, you can stay that way. Your regular healthcare provider can give you an HIV test. Free HIV tests are also available at health department clinics in all 5 boroughs. For clinic locations and hours, call 311 or visit nyc.gov.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Bailon. Having an official ID is one of the keys to success. Want to open a bank account? Apply for a job? Register for college soon? You'll need an official ID to do any of these things. Don't drive? Don't worry. You can get a non-driver state ID, and it only costs about $10. But in order to get an ID, there are a few things you'll need, and we're here to help. Go to nyc.gov and click on or search ID to get started.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Hola, me llamo Ana y trabajo en el Departamento de Asuntos al Consumidor. A veces puede ser abrumador para administrar su dinero, pero los centros de poder financieros de la ciudad pueden ayudarle a tomar control brindándole asesoramiento financiero profesional, gratuito e individual, ofrecido en toda la ciudad en diferentes idiomas. Nuestros consejeros pueden ayudar a reducir su deuda, preparar un presupuesto, abrir una cuenta bancaria segura y mucho más. Visite nyc.gov para encontrar el centro más cercano o llame al 311 para pedir una cita ya.
I'm Fatima Sharma, Commissioner of the New York City Mayor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. New York City is home to people from more than 190 countries. They're our neighbors and co-workers and an essential part of the fabric that makes us the greatest city in the world. My office helps immigrants make New York City their home. In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, we continue to work to make sure that immigrant communities affected by the storm have access to services that will help them recover and rebuild their lives. To learn more, visit nyc.gov or contact 311.
You're listening to Radio NYC.
Brooklyn Bridge Park keeps getting better. Hi, I'm Regina Meyer, president of Brooklyn Bridge Park, and we're thrilled to welcome visitors to the brand new Pier 5. Come play on our 5-acre sports field, barbecue on grills at the Picnic Peninsula, or take in the breathtaking views of Lower Manhattan from the promenade. There's more to come later this year when the Pier 2 sports courts make their debut. Check out brooklynbridgepark.org or call 311 for further information. Can't wait to see you at the park.
Hola, yo soy Adrienne Bailón. Tener una identificación oficial puede ser clave para tu éxito. ¿Quieres abrir una cuenta bancaria? ¿Solicitar un trabajo? Vas a necesitar una identificación oficial para hacer cualquiera de estas cosas. Puedes conseguir una identificación estatal para no conductores y solo cuesta $10. Pero para conseguir una identificación hay unas cosas que vas a necesitar. Visite nyc.gov y busque ID para empezar.
I'm Rob Walsh, Commissioner of Small Business Services.
And I'm Terrence Holliday, Commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Veterans Affairs. Our veterans served our country, and we are proud to serve them.
If you're a veteran or a veteran spouse looking for a job, stop by the Workforce One Veterans Center at 60 Madison Avenue in Manhattan, or at any of the 15 centers in all 5 boroughs. We work with businesses committed to hiring veterans, which means we have jobs for you. For more information, call 311 or visit nyc.gov.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Home is the one place we all expect to be safe, but each day over 1,000 New Yorkers report an incident of domestic violence. Hello, I'm Commissioner Yolanda Jimenez of the Mayor's Office to Combat Domestic Violence. Victims and their children don't have to suffer in silence. If you or someone you know is a victim of family violence, help is available 24 hours a day in all languages by calling 311 and asking for the New York City Domestic Violence Hotline. In emergencies, call 911.
Hello, I'm Taxi and Limousine Commissioner David Yaski. Did you know that New York City taxicabs are required by law to take passengers anywhere in the 5 boroughs, or to Westchester or Nassau County, or to Newark Airport? In fact, a driver can't even ask where you're going before they accept the trip. So if a taxi driver refuses to serve you, call 311 or visit nyc.gov with the license or medallion number. With your help, the TLC is here to make sure you get where you need to go.
Hi, I'm Rob Walsh, Commissioner of the Department of Small Business Services. Figuring out what permits and licenses are needed in order to start and expand a business in New York City can be a challenging task. That's why we created New York City Business Express. It's a free one-stop website where business owners can access the information they need to open up shop. You can apply online for many permits, settle outstanding fines, and find incentives to lower the cost of doing business. Visit nyc.gov or call 311 and ask for NYC Business Express.
This is Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Remember to dial 311 for all New York City government services and information.
Soy Iris Jiménez Hernández, vicepresidenta de HHC, su sistema de hospitales públicos. Este Día de las Madres, dele a su mamá el mejor regalo, una cita para una mamografía. En HHC ofrecemos mamografías a muy bajo costo o sin costo durante todo el año. Visite nuestro sitio web o marque el 311 para el hospital público más cercano.
Hi, this is New York City Transportation Commissioner Jeanette Sadekhan. For most New Yorkers, our 6,000 miles of streets are our front yards, so we're doing everything we can to make them as safe, attractive, and as sustainable as they can be. By keeping our roads and bridges in good repair, building new public plazas and bike lanes, we're creating world-class streets for a world-class city. Please help us keep our streets safe and smooth by calling 311 to report potholes and other traffic concerns in your neighborhood.
This is Carter Strickland, Environmental Protection Commissioner for New York City. Every day, 9 million New Yorkers rely on DEP to deliver 1 billion gallons of the world's best drinking water to their homes and businesses. Renowned for its purity and taste, our tap water comes by gravity from the Catskills, 125 miles away, making it the right choice for your health and the environment. Look for our New York City Water on the Go fountains throughout the 5 boroughs and learn more about New York City's water supply at nyc.gov. New York City Water, the right choice for the environment, your health, and your wallet. This is Carter Strickland, Environmental Protection Commissioner for New York City. Our restaurant scene is one of the best in the world, serving millions of New Yorkers and tourists every year. If you run a restaurant or food service business, remember to properly empty your grease traps. Pouring grease down the drain or into a city catch basin is illegal and can cause significant costly sewer backups. For a description of grease regulations and information regarding proper disposal methods, visit nyc.gov.
You're listening to Radio NYC.
What better way to get some outdoor exercise than rolling up your sleeves and helping care for Brooklyn's Prospect Park? Hi, I'm Emily Lloyd, president of the Prospect Park Alliance. Volunteering at Prospect Park offers many exciting ways to make a difference in the lives of all who benefit from the park. Individuals, families, students, and retirees can all have fun and learn something while helping the park. We provide the training and equipment. You decide how much time you can spare. For more information, call 311 or go online to nyc.gov, and I hope I'll see you soon in beautiful Prospect Park.
Hi, this is Sanitation Commissioner John Doherty. Please use street litter baskets.
Okay. You're the assistant principal? Who is the assistant principal?
Yeah.
You seem like a nice person.
I'm Sophia Bosvilias. I'm from City College. Nice meeting you.
I don't remember what they had assistant principal was. Mrs. Kelly in the elementary school who laughed at me when I wanted her to sign a paper saying I was a good student. My boys got married back. I can't remember junior high school. Yeah. McCarthy, I think, is the principal. Right here in high school.
Someone always has that.
In Medford, Massachusetts, these are elementary schools with now an apartment building. It was a WPA project, all of them. And then the hospital and high school, they looked down and looked up in some of their. And the high school, Medford High School, burnt down, and they rebuilt it as apartments and then built it as the same structure and then built it as high school. The city's the same size it was then. This was pretty built up.
And what was the name of the teacher that made a difference in your life?
The two teachers were Miss Sharkey, the honors English teacher, and Mr. Lally. But I do remember my Latin teacher, who I was so bad she wanted to make me to flip over and
Language is difficult.
Are we ready? Well, good morning, everyone. At the outset, let me thank the staff here at City College Academy of the Arts for hosting us this morning. And we have three assistant principals, Ayexa Condanaso, close? Close. Candarosa, okay. Audrey Osborne and Joseph Kinney. And your name? Sophia Bose from City College. Thank you. Well, it is nice for you to host us. And the subject du jour is the graduation rates that we're going to talk about. Graduation rates for New York State, including New York City, if you remember, are officially published by the State Department of Education in June, as they have been every year since 2005, when the state began releasing graduation rates for all districts and the city adopted the state's measurement criteria. Before that, we measured it slightly differently. It had to do with whether or not, if you graduate in a little more than 4 years, you were included or not. But we went to a common standard back in 05, and so the numbers today we're giving you compare 05 to now, as opposed to going back to when this administration started. I wanted to share the city's preliminary graduation rates for the class of 2013 with you today, because I think it shows the further evidence, the incredible progress that New York City students are making, and the success our school reforms have had in transitioning and transforming an educational system that was once a case study in dysfunction into one that's reaching new heights of achievement every year, full of momentum for continuing improvement in the years to come, and really has, if you talk to people around the country, become the standard against which everybody else is now measuring themselves. It's something we should be very proud of. For 2 decades before our administration came into office, if you remember, our public school graduation rates had been stuck at 50%, never seemed to budge from that, and the achievement gap between students of different backgrounds was also frozen. We made no progress, none, nada, not even close. The school system was stagnant, I think it's fair to say, and many people had just lost hope that anything could be done to fix it. Then we came into office and we refused to believe that that was true. So for 12 years, we worked to raise standards, give students and teachers more support, and to hold our schools more accountable for success. We've also, with much work and controversy, given students and parents more choices by creating more top-quality schools to prepare students for success today and in the changing economy they'll enter when they graduate. The results of this work are encouraging in the extreme. We've seen steady progress in graduation rates and in closing the achievement gap year after year after year. We narrowed the gap with the rest of the state as well, as our students improved faster than their counterparts in other districts. And as I keep reminding everyone, we compare ourselves to the students in the rest of the states when you look to see how well they're doing on tests, because all of the students in the state, in the city and out of the city, take the same tests. A big reason for the progress that we have made in our high schools is that we have done so much to improve our elementary and middle schools, so that the students, when they enter high school, they are better prepared to do the work and to have the successful outcome. As a result of that work, today, 22 out of the 25 highest performing elementary and middle schools in the state are here in New York City. And I think it would have been unthinkable 12 years ago. In fact, back then, not one of the top 25 schools in the state was in our city. So think about that. 12 years ago, none. Today, 22 out of 25. And these are elementary and middle schools. The rest of the state is now striving to keep up with the pace that our schools have set. And that's a far cry from what was true 12 years ago. That improvement in our elementary and middle schools is reflected not only in our rising graduation rates, but also in increasing rates of college readiness. Now, first, if I can figure out how to use this. There we go. Graduation rates. That's slide 1. Graduation rates, I just want to make sure. Yep. Graduation rates are at an all-time high, and the dropout rate is at an all-time low. That's the message. In 2013, the city's 4-year graduation rates, represented by the orange bars in this slide, which I don't know, it doesn't seem to, it's hard to It doesn't show on the screen. The city's four-year graduation rate, represented by orange bars, increased another 1.3 percentage points from last year to this year, from 2012 to 2013. And the total increase, it's gone up to 66%. That's an all-time high for the city. It means that the city's graduation rate has increased 42% since 2005. Now, we compare ourselves, I keep reminding you, to 2005 because that's when the graduation rates were using the same standard as the state uses. So the numbers are comparable if you want to compare us to the state. That means that over the last 8 years, 89,000 students who would not have graduated if the rates had been held at the 2005 level did graduate and now have high school diplomas, and many are continuing on to college. And let me remind you that even if college is not your career path, having a high school diploma makes an awful lot of difference in terms of what kind of employment you can get and where you're accepted. Just as graduation rates are going up, the converse is also good news. The converse is that the dropout rate, represented by the green bars, dropped another 7% from 2012 to a low of 10.6%. And the dropout rate since 2005 has fallen by 52%, more than half. So if you just take a look at the 7 or 8 years difference, 46% to 66% going up of graduation rates, dropout rates 22 down to less than half of that, 10.6. It really is quite amazing. What it means is that 55,000 students stayed in high school that would have dropped out if the dropout rate that we had in 2005 had remained constant. And we do know that a vast majority of those who did stay and didn't drop out went on to graduate. Let me go to the next slide. Yep, so you want something there? If you want the slide, I can wait for it. Oh, okay, sorry. More and more students are finishing high school, even as the requirement for diplomas has risen gradually and significantly over the past decade. If you remember, in 2005, students needed a 55 score on 5 regional exams to graduate with a diploma. In 2013, a student needed 65, up from 55 on Regents exams to earn a diploma. Now, conventional wisdom was, as those standards rose, the percentage of students earning the more rigorous diplomas would have decreased. But that is not true. As you can see, even as we raise standards, the percentage of students earning Regent diplomas has more than doubled since 2005, from 30% to an all-time high of 62.6% in 2013. Got that? College readiness among our students is also at an all-time high. The College Readiness Index looks at the Regents, SATs, ACTs, and the CUNY and assessment test, as well as other factors like advanced coursework and math that indicate a student's preparedness for success in college. The number of graduating students who are college ready, represented by the blue bars in this graph, rose from 32.3% in 2005 to 46.8% in 2013. That's an increase of 45%. So when people say, oh, more are graduating, but they're not ready for college, that's not true. Not only are more graduating and fewer dropping out, those that graduate are going up in terms of their abilities to compete in the world that they are trying to enter. And that means a lot less remedial work that's going to have to be done if they want to succeed in college. The percentage of all students who entered high school 4 years ago and graduated college ready in 4 years is represented by the white numbers inside the blue bars. In 2005, just 16% of the cohort that had entered high school as freshmen in 2001 were graduating college ready 4 years later. In 2013, more than 31% of the cohort that began high school in 2009 were graduating college ready. And that means that in 2013, the percentage of high school students who graduated college ready after 4 years in high school was 96% higher than it was in 2005. Now, we still have work to do, and we've made strong progress, and that progress is being driven by our Black and Hispanic students. College readiness of Black students increased 16% this year and has increased 154% since 2005, while the college readiness of Hispanic students increased 15% this year and 174% since 2005. So this is every group is sharing in this great success story. And here you can see our Black and Hispanic students have also set the pace for increasing graduation rates. It shows the increase in graduation rates from 05 to 13 for each of the 4 ethnic groups. And of these groups, Black and Hispanic students have made the biggest gains, as you can see. So way on the left is Asian, then Black, Hispanic, and white students, if you can't see the graph. And you can see at the top, Asian students 22% up, Black students 53% up, Hispanic students 58% up, and white students 25%. There's still a ways to go, but the progress is there. Last year, graduation rates of male and female Black students increased by 3.6%. Hispanic students had an increase of 2.1%. And since 05, you see the numbers, dramatic improvement. Since 05, also, the graduation rates between Black students and white students has shrunk 5 percentage points, and the gap between Hispanic students and white students has shrunk by 6 percentage points. Most encouragingly and most impressive are the gains of our young Black and Hispanic men. Chancellor Walcott will have a little more to say about that in a few minutes. We've also given help to students who face some of the toughest obstacles to success in school, and those students are making great strides. The graduation rates for students who are English language learners in their 4th year of high school, represented by the orange bars in this slide, has risen by 46% since 05. Their 4-year graduation rate fell slightly last year as graduation standards increased, so there's still some work to do, but the upward progress is evident, and we're way ahead of where we were in 05, and these students deserve a lot of credit for that. Many of our students who enter school as English language learners become proficient enough in English that they're no longer considered English language learners by the time they graduate. And given that this is a predominantly English-speaking country, that really opens up enormous opportunities for them. The graduation rate for these students is well above average, 77%. Our students with disabilities have also made big gains. Their graduation rate, showed by the blue bars on this slide, improved by 7 percentage points last year alone, and they have more than doubled their graduation rates since 05. Yesterday, we also announced that the number of city students taking and passing AP tests has more than doubled since 02. Since 02, the number of high school seniors overall taking the SATs has increased by 56%. And I'm happy to say that last year, our city's SAT takers scores increased in every subject and across every single ethnic group. In contrast, the nation's scores either remained flat or declined in every single subject. So where you can measure us against the rest of the country, not just against the rest of the state, the numbers really should put a smile on our faces. Doesn't mean we're where we want to be, but it certainly shows that we have been going in the right direction after decades of stagnation. Our school system still has a long ways to go. None of us should be satisfied with every student's graduation, every student's attainments. There's always more you can learn. I don't know of any Nobel Prize winner that has stopped learning even after they got a Nobel Prize. When parents say to me, how much does my child have to learn before they can go back to watching television? The answer is, I'm sorry to tell you this, but there is no answer to that question. The more you learn, the better off you will be, and the more you'll be able to share in the great American dream. Now, we've made great progress in closing achievement gaps between students of different backgrounds and between the city and state. We expect this trend to continue when the rest of the state's 2013 graduation numbers are published. That won't be until June. But we're handing off a system to the next administration that is in motion on a steady upward trajectory with a strong foundation for continued improvement. Our school system is getting better with each passing day, and so is the outlook for our students. And they deserve the credit for the good news that we can report today, as do the teachers who stand before them, the parents who stand behind them, and the principals and assistant principals who work so hard to make our schools better every single day. So now let me turn the floor over to one of the people who deserves a lot of the credit for all the progress we've made, School's Chancellor, Dennis Walcott. Dennis?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, let me say... got a round of applause.
Absolutely.
Very much.
That's my cousins.
I know. They're all here from Medford right now. First, let me say thank you to you for your leadership, and we truly appreciate, I think, the road that you've laid for us as far as moving ahead on benefiting our students in the long run. I started with you back in 2002.
That's true.
And when we started together, it was a different type of system. It was under the old Board of Ed. We fought for control. We won that in July of 2002, and it has been a great ride to benefit our students, and we're very proud of the progress. As the mayor indicated, Basically, every metric that the mayor has talked about has been improved significantly over the last 11 and a half years. And when you compare to the state scores, as the mayor indicated back in 2005, you see a tremendous improvement as far as the attainment level for our students, whether it's English language learners, students with special needs, Black, Hispanic, white, Asian students. Every number has gone up and gone up significantly. The mayor talked about a number that I always like to focus on, and that's the number around the students who have dropped out as well. As the mayor indicated, that number is now at a record low of 10.6%. Who would have thought back in 2005, and especially in 2002, we would be at a point of having 10.6% of our students dropping out. Even though that's too high, it represents a 52% reduction, And it's as a result, as the mayor indicated, to our great principals, our teachers, our students, our parents, and all the team members who are part of the Department of Education working collaboratively on behalf of our students. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to them. Before the mayor arrived, I had the opportunity to go around and visit a number of classrooms in a variety of the schools in this building. And the type of learning that's taking place is just tremendous. You see the students who are engaged, they're interacting with their teachers. It's no longer like when you and I were in school, you just raise your hand and maybe you'll be called on, maybe you won't be called on. There's group discussion taking place, discussion around nonfiction text, really analyzing problems, and in coming up with an answer and thinking critically on how you reach an answer to the questions that are being posed, and having debates around issues, so having the ability to talk and defend your answer as well. And one of the indicators that the mayor talked about that we're also seeing tremendous improvement is in our Black male students as well. And when you take a look at the four-year graduation rate for Black and Hispanic males, they've increased dramatically since 2005. If you look at Black males back in 2005, it was at 31.5%. Today, it is at 55.3%, which represents a 75% increase. 75% increase. If you look at Hispanic males, again, back in 2005, you look at it as 31%. You look at it today, it is 54.3%, representing a 76% increase in the number of Hispanic males who are graduating. We are working hard through the mayor's initiative called the Young Men's Initiative, especially with our Expanded Success Initiative schools, and focusing on Black and Hispanic males. But it's not just relegated to those schools. It represents a system-wide change of choice that we have given to our parents and to our students that never existed before. The creation of new small high schools, new elementary and middle schools, providing parents the opportunity to have choice to choose from. Here at this particular school, this school didn't exist when we first came into office. This school was not even thought of. And back in, I think, around 2005, this school came into creation, and we had the opportunity to meet students who are now earning college credits. I met one young woman who has 48 credits. When she graduates from this school, she'll probably have around 50 plus credits to move on to college. You see these types of schools throughout the city. The other key thing, and we've talked about it, but we haven't talked about it in a comprehensive way. Back in 2003, we commissioned a report focusing on our students who are overage and undercredited. And as a result of that, evolved a number of new types of schools to focus on that population as well, called our transfer high schools. And transfer high schools are doing a great job in reaching those students who may need that extra push. The mayor talks about it on a regular basis. We always celebrate those students who graduate in 4 years, but he and we love those students who graduate in 5 and 6 years. They're showing that stick-to-itiveness, the determination, and my favorite word, the resiliency to make sure that they graduate. And that's what this represents. It represents a comprehensive overhaul of the Department of Education to make sure that we offer choice for our students and our parents, but more importantly, making sure that our students are able to graduate college and career ready. Finally, one of the things that we're very proud of is that the changing of the language of what success actually means. High school is no longer enough. You have to graduate being ready to go to college or to a career. And with our accountability systems and measuring the performance of our schools, we're able to factor that in the school's grade, but more importantly, parents have information, our teachers have information, our principals have information, and people overall have information on how well the school is doing. Accountability is key to the success. So, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for your leadership, but more importantly, I want to thank the hardworking staff, the 135,000 employees of the Department of Education who work day in and day out for their dedication to their children, the dedication to making sure education is reached to our students, but more importantly, to our hard-working students like the students who are standing in the back today, the students who are in this school, or the students who are at our 1,814 schools in New York City who are getting a high-quality education as a result of this monumental change. And I am very proud to be here today, but more importantly, as the Mayor indicated, to lay a solid foundation as we move forward. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Dennis, you and Shale Polikow-Sorinsky, our Chief Academic Officer, deserve an enormous amount of credit. You really have made an enormous difference. It's a legacy that you will look back on, and everybody in the city and in the country is a beneficiary of it. Before we take some questions on topic, let me summarize for our Spanish-speaking New Yorkers. Nuestra tasa de graduación ha llegado a niveles récord, ha subido 42% desde el 2005 y el número de estudiantes graduando preparados para la universidad también está a niveles record. And with that, we'll be happy to take some questions. Yes, sir.
Scott Pringle, 24/7 News. Mr. Mayor, how do you feel the numbers in the education system will fare under de Blasio?
I hope that he'll take these and do a lot better. I mean, we're on a trend, and you hope the trend continues, and we are giving him every bit of assistance, information. I'll get to you. And I think we have shown something that works. That doesn't mean you couldn't do better. And that's up to the next administration to see whether they want to change or do better. But what is clear is that for the 12 years we've been doing this, the results are, by any national standards, outstanding. We really have become the poster child. It's really quite amazing. The city's reputation as how you go about and take a big city school and try to include all kids, minorities, kids with special needs, kids that English language learners, kids that may have emotional problems. We really have pulled together an amazing system here, and we all should be very proud. Yes. Including, incidentally, the taxpayer. Taxpayers in this city spend they pay for almost all, good 70%, I think it is, would be our local taxes. 60% city tax levy of what we spend on education. We spend close to $20,000 per student. The average across America is $8,000. So we really are rewarding our teachers and devoting the resources to get results, and the results are there. We've not wasted our money. Yes, Miss?
So to follow up on that, I guess that's why I kept raising my hand. I'm going to the train of thought. So what do you see as the biggest obstacle to the next administration, like the things they need to watch out for to continue the trend? What could you...
Well, there's always people who don't want evaluations. But I think it's clear that if you don't find out who can do the job and who can't, and then provide some help for those who are not doing the job, and if they can't use the help to improve, change the system and just change the people. The system has to be run for the students. Traditionally, this system and most education systems are run for the people who work in the industry. And they just don't care about the students. They mouth the words and say it, but to leave a teacher in front of a class that can't teach is just an outrage. The kids in that class for the rest of their lives will be hurt. Think about it, what you do. You have 1 year of a kid falling behind, and then the next year they're tough. It's even tougher because they can't compete, and then they start, you start spiraling down. And we all know what happens. You look at the income inequality, as people call it. It is a correlation. It's education inequality. The correlation between education and income, with the exception of a handful of very lucky people at the top and very unlucky people at the bottom, for most of it, is almost 100%. This is our kids' future. And for some reason or other, in this city, before 12 years ago, we just tolerated running it for the people that work there, and the results were zero change. Literally, every year it was the same. Minority kids were at the bottom, and everybody said that's just the way it is, and they can't learn. We didn't take that as a given, and I think we've shown that that's just not true. The minority kids still have a long ways to go, but an awful lot of the kids at the top of their classes are minorities, just as everybody's moved up. Yes, Miss.
Lisa Fleischer with the Wall Street Journal. We traditionally gather for this briefing in June.
Right. We're not going to be here.
Is that the reason that we pushed it up this year? I mean, why not do it in November or December in past years?
Well, because we wanted to wait for the state scores. But we don't have that luxury this time. But I assume you'll demand that the next administration in June update the numbers. Our expectation is that if you update these numbers, they would change by less than a fraction of 1% or 0.1%. So the numbers we think for us are good, but we don't have state scores to compare us to. And I come back again and again. The comparison you want to look for is the city versus the state, because it doesn't make any difference whether the test this year is harder or easier than last year. What makes it, they all take the same tests. And so looking at us compared to them, if it was an easy test or a harder test.
Do you personally want to come out here and talk about these numbers before you left office?
I want everybody to know these numbers. Why wouldn't I? This is what we've all worked for 12 years. I don't know what you've been doing for 12 years, but there's an awful lot of people in the Department of Education who have devoted the last 12 years of their lives to not make a lot of money, but to do what's right for this country and what's right for our kids. And I just think they have every reason to have a big smile on their face. If this isn't great performance, and if they don't have the right to go home and have a smile on their face and say to their families, I made a difference, then shame on us. Yes, sir.
Patrick Wall from Gotham Schools. As you know, when the state aligned the 3 to 8th grade test to the Common Core standards, the tougher standards, those proficiency rates went way down for across the state and in the city. Is there any expectation that will happen when the high school scores?
Proficiency is simply an arbitrary point where, and if you think about it, I come back to no Nobel Prize winner stop studying. There is no such thing as proficiency. It's an artificial thing we've created so the press can write about something. And they've changed it 3 years in a row, so it's virtually impossible to compare using proficiency one to another. And you write the story, proficiency's gone down, or that scores have gone down. No, the amount the kids are doing has gone up every year. It is just you're taking a different benchmark, and that seems to be a very difficult concept for anybody to write about because it just never makes it. I still come back, compare the city to the state because they all take the same test regardless of where you say I'm going to have this cutoff. And if you think there is a proficiency level where you can say to your child, okay, you can go back to playing some violent video game or watching television and not study anymore, I'm sorry. You're hurting your child's future if you ever let them get to that. They've got to keep studying.
I guess I'm saying when the Common Core, when the high school tests are aligned to those the regions are, do you think the graduation rate will go down then?
There's no reason to think that it would go down. In fact, if you take a look, there's only 3 states, Massachusetts, Florida, and I forget the other one. Shale, do you know one of the Carolinas that use their scores on the international tests?
California?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I wonder if somebody East Coast could be California. Massachusetts started to go to a much more rigorous curriculum, essentially Common Core. Massachusetts test scores are the only ones in the country that can compete on a national level in the top 10. The rest of the states are down 30-ish, down the low 20s or the high 20s going that direction, or 30s. What it's shown is when you raise the standards, you have to teach harder, you have to work harder, but these kids in the back are mature. They're almost adults, and they know that their future depends on what they do. And that, I don't remember that when I was in high school of thinking about that. Kids today want to know, how am I going to get a job And I want to go to college because I want to be able to get a job and I want to share in the great American dream. And I don't remember at my generation that was the thought. You just sort of went if your parents told you to go. I was at a school yesterday, Beacon Academy, where the kids have to go, they call it 9 to 9, 9 in the morning till 9 at night, 7 Saturdays in the year. The teachers have volunteered an extra 35 hours to work with the kids. They have to go 6 days a week. I mean, this is a real competition to stay up in a world that's becoming more open, more competitive, and more global. Yes, Miss.
Liza Shapiro from Capitol, New York. I'm wondering if you can point to specific reforms you've enacted that you think the next administration basically has to keep in order for
well, it's not us to tell. I'll be happy to list what we've done. It's not up to us to tell them what to do. What we can say is that this is what we've done, and here are the results. And I'll leave the interpretation and the connection between the two to you and to future historians as well as journalists. Shayla, you want to talk about what we've done?
Sure. So I think what's driving these rates up consistently is creating a set of schools that are organized very differently. So if you walk into the classrooms of City College Academy, you'll see kids who are known really well, who are supported at each step of the way, teachers who are meeting regularly in teams and working with each other, kids who are asked not just to do high school level work, but also to do college level work. As the mayor mentioned and Dennis mentioned, there are students in this room that have over 40 credits in college already during their high school career. And we've started to push that same kind of rigor down into the elementary schools and middle schools, so that as kids come up into high school, they're better prepared, they're more ready to engage in this more rigorous work.
I had a couple of things. One, the expectations are higher. I think it is fair to say 12 years ago, everybody said, particularly with minority kids, don't even try, they can't do the work. And we came in and said, absolutely, one of the dumbest things we ever heard, they can do the work, and we demanded that they go for the top and compete with everybody else. And you see the results. When you raise the standards, when the people expect more from you, human nature is you do more, you work harder. And so more than anything else, I think that it's that, asking the kids to do more. It's also a much better led workforce. The principals are much different than they were years ago. We have this Principals Academy. We train principals in management, and no organization functions without good management. The teachers are a lot better on average than they were before. We have become a very hot place for good teachers to come to work. 20 years ago, the parents of kids did not want them to move to New York because it was dangerous. Today, the parents want them to move to New York because it's safer here than the city where they were growing up. And it's become a place where young people want to come. It's exciting. This is the intellectual capital of the world. So the workforce that's delivering the service to the kids is infinitely better than it was before. And lastly, I think in all fairness to the chancellors and all of the other agencies that work with the Department of Education, they work better together. If you remember when we came into office, the books didn't arrive till January, but school started in September. The teachers didn't get paid for a couple months because they had a manual system. A lot of kids got arrested and guns and things in schools, and a lot of that is not perfect, but most of that is gone. And it just, everybody understands we're in this together. And they're proud of what they do. And, when I talk to teachers, they say, why do people think we're not doing a good job? People say, oh, the school system isn't better. Anybody that's ever looked at the numbers will tell you the school system is dramatically better. Yes, miss?
The school system...
Could you just identify who you are?
Lindsay Chris from New York 1. The graduation rate increases since 2005 have been significant, but in the past few years, it's been sort of up a point, down a point, up a point.
I don't know, is that where graduation rates, let me go back to...
We're just seeing last year's, but the year before it was 60.
All right.
Anyway, my point is, my question is, if you could speak to why in the past few years you think it's been maybe more difficult to really see the kind of larger gains that you saw a few years ago. Obviously, the local diploma has been phased out, but the state's rate has not dropped either. It's also remained flat.
Yeah, I mean, it is true that local diplomas have been phased out now. It's just region diplomas. Shale, you want to add?
So I think what we talked about in June was that in the last several years, the state phased in the Regents diploma at 65, and so as that became harder and harder, you saw kids holding even, getting many more Regents diplomas, but the overall diploma rate actually went down in June a year ago. What's exciting is, and what we said we would hope to see at that point in time, was once kids got used to that new standard, it should start to go back up again. And here we have the evidence that that is exactly what's happening, that now that kids are used to the standard, the graduation rate has started to rise. And I think, if we continue this work, we'll see it continue to rise.
Another answer to those questions, there's outside services that have looked at the performance here, and the closing the big schools, which is an unfortunate term because we really don't close them. We use the same building, the same students, you just break it up differently. You have more management because you create smaller schools, each one which has a principal and AP or two, where everybody can focus, management can focus on the teachers can focus on the students better, and you have theme schools. The theme schools get the kids interested. The smaller schools are much easier to manage and to focus and to know which students need more help. And it's a school so big, you come in, the teacher does the best they can, and there's no contact. Here, they can get to know the students, and the teachers within the school can talk about the kid that is in the class and ask the teacher who had that child last year and get a better sense of how you do it. So breaking up big schools into small schools has, by every independent measure, been one of the more successful strategies that we've done. Yes, Miss.
Yasmin Khan.
Sorry, after you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yasmin Khan from WNYC. Just to clarify about the timing of the announcement again, I think the state usually announces it so late in June because they audit all the school districts.
I said that.
So what is, right, so I just wanted to clarify, did the state verify these numbers, and what is the next verification process that would have to happen that might change?
Verification, I don't like to be called a liar. These are the numbers, okay? I mean, if you think that there's fraud, I would suggest you better have some evidence of that. The people that work in our school system are scrupulously honest, and I can't tell you every one of the 125,000 people there are, but most are. So let's just first start with these. The numbers I said, our expectation is when you get the last few little bits of information could change less than a fraction of 0.1%. So these are essentially our numbers. We don't have the state numbers. And we provide the state numbers to the state in any case. It's just that they haven't gotten their numbers out. And I said you should compare them to the state come June. But we're finishing up, and the public has a right to know what's been accomplished and what has not been accomplished. So, of course, we're going to put it out now. Yes, sir.
James Brewer from WPIX Channel 11. You clearly have proof of performance here of real improvement.
Yes.
Yet the mayor-elect has criticized you for heavily favoring...
You have to talk to him. I have no idea.
But what's your response to the fact that you said minutes ago, anyone who looks at the numbers has to say...
I'm not a reporter or historian. I'm here to report on what we've done, and that's all we can do, and that's all we should do. Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Ben Chapman with the Daily News. So you've spent the last decade...
12 years.
12 years, better than a decade, pushing through these aggressive reforms in the public school system. Part of that has been issuing letter grades to schools. As an education mayor, would you be willing to issue a letter grade to yourself?
I would let the historians do that, because no matter what I say, that will be the story, okay? And I'm not going to let you take away from what our kids, teachers, APs, school safety officers, principals, parents, taxpayers have done. Any others? Yeah, I'll give you another question. No follow-up. You can have another question. Okay. Try that.
Yeah, Amaj. Greatest successes over the past 12 years. What are
in education?
Yes.
I think the thing that gives me most pride is, although I'm not so sure it was the most difficult, but the narrowing of the gap between minority students and white nations. It's nowhere near you want it to be, and I think a lot of it was just expanding the expectations or rigorous, and then it sort of almost happened by itself, not suggesting only by itself. I think maybe there's other things that were more difficult. But that's one of the things that, if you think about it, to let a part of our society, whether they're special ed kids or English language learners or different ethnicities or religions, fall behind and not to try to do something about it was ridiculous. And people that say, well, I don't want higher standards, you're condemning these kids to a life without being able to share as much as they would like in the great American dream, whether it's financially or being able to vote or enjoy literature or sports or whatever you want to do. And I think also it's this. The other thing that you got to think about, you can always roll back things or improve them, but there is now an expectation that you can have good schools and you can educate all the kids. Some more, some less. There's always going to be a few problems. But the days of believing whoever they are, can't learn, can't be educated are over. And I've given Rudy Giuliani credit in the same context with crime. The fact that Rudy brought down crime was nice. But crime could have always gone up. What Rudy did is he changed the expectation that you can have low crime in a big city. And that's every mayor after that is being held responsible for continuing to lower crime. And the murder rate this year is going to set another record by a very big amount. But I think the public's not going to stand for crime going up. And my hope is that the public is not going to stand for education going down. And that's the Fourth Estate's responsibility, is to watch government and to inform the public, and not just the sensational stuff, the actual numbers, and answer questions like we had here before. Yes, I'm not coming back to you.
I'm Robin Kilmer from the Manhattan Times. Is there one thing you wish you had done differently all these 12 years?
Back in school, I probably should have studied Latin a little bit more. No, I don't know how to answer that question. I think, in the social sciences, you can't go and repeat an experiment and to find out whether that was the optimal thing to do. I think we've done a spectacular job, and you always could go and say, I could have done more. But quite honestly, I don't remember any time in 12 years where we didn't have a full plate and said we just have to finish some things before you start others, whether in education or crime or social services or the culturals or whatever. Yes, sir.
You mentioned how Rudy Giuliani is remembered for bringing down the crime rate. Are you hoping that you are remembered for gains in education? Would you say that's your proudest accomplishment as mayor?
I think the two things that I don't know how to answer your question. I don't know what historians or journalists can do. I can tell you what I will remember. I will remember an education system that came out dramatically better for all kids, on average, than we came in, and life expectancy going up dramatically. Life expectancy in New York City is 3+ years better than it was 12 years ago. 8.4 million people living 3 years more is an awful lot of man years, and it's 2.5 years greater than the average across America. And that number includes crime and fire and response times and all of the things that people yell and scream about. And if you sit back and take a look at it, it's pretty hard to argue that the public health things like smoking and letter grades and those kinds of things didn't have, in different proportions at different times, a great impact. And the same thing in education, grading schools. Parents have a right, parents need choice, as do the students. Parents need to know, to the extent that you can measure it, and it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than nothing, how well the school is doing and how well teachers are doing. They have their kids in these schools and in front of their teachers. And if they don't care about that, I don't know what they care about. Yes, sir.
Rob Gone in New York Post. I'm just wondering if you gave any consideration to letting Bill de Blasio announce these positive results at the typical time in June.
He's certainly going to. Because in June, I assume you have to ask him, but I assume he's going to have a press conference.
the same results?
We think they'll be almost the same. But my job is not to play politics. It's to explain what we've done in 12 years. And if you don't think that, then I don't know what to talk about.
That's what parents care about. Who will have the press conference when? They don't care about the results for their kids.
Right.
Right?
Think about that. Mark's right.
Let me take one.
Is that more important? You're going to play politics and try to have a story rather than let the parents know what their kids did. I hope you don't have kids in the public schools. Yes, Miss? Did you have a question? Were you signaling?
No.
Okay. Last question.
Can we just look forward a little bit for you, sir? How do you think you can continue to impact this once you're out of office, maybe through your foundation or other efforts?
Well, our foundation funds a lot of educational things around the country. I don't think anything in New York City. But we fund campaigns for reformist candidates who are running around the country, and sometimes we help them, and sometimes we don't. But we do that, and we have an extensive outreach and education. But New York City school system is going to be the responsibility of the next mayor, and I'm certainly not going to get in his way, interfere, second guess, or criticize. Would not be productive for the people of New York. They have a right to know what we did, and then we have an obligation to make the transition as good as we can. We have to give the next mayor as good a system going forward as we can, and enough information so that the next mayor can take what we've done and decide what to continue and what not to. If they copied everything, I'm not even sure that's right, because the problems that the next mayor is going to face are different problems than we faced or the previous mayor faced, and that's always the case. Last question, Miss. I'm sorry.
This is Lisa with the Wall Street Journal again. This is slightly off the graduation topic, but it's still in education. New York City this year is probably going to spend over $200 million on private schooling for special education children. Yes. And there are always legal fights about this. One of the things that I've heard from the city is they feel like it's kind of a scam that parents are scamming
Well, not
the
everybody.
system.
There are some people, I think it's fair to say, there is evidence that some people try to scam the system. I suspect that is a small percentage of the people where the city does pay. The issue here, for those that don't know it, if your child has some special needs and the courts find that the city does not provide adequate help to the child, then the parents have the right to send their kids elsewhere to a private school, and the city has to pay. It is per capita phenomenally expensive. If you send your kid to Riverdale or Fieldston or one of these schools that's $40,000, $50,000 a year versus the $20,000 we spend per kid in the city. And there are probably a handful of people who scam the system, and but the whole issue of whether we're overdiagnosing the kids or whether they can get the right help, that's up to the professionals and not up to me. And we'll fight to make sure there's no scamming. But the courts clearly say we have to do it, and so we do it. Thank you very much. This is as good a day. If this doesn't put a smile on your face, I don't know what does. And good luck to all of you. You will when you have great careers and you come back, live in New York. We need taxpayers.
The other state.
Second?
It was Connecticut. The other
Oh, well,
state.
okay, fine. I thought it was something in the East Coast.
C state.
Well, I thought it was either North or South Carolina. I don't know why I remember.
South Carolina, C state.
A lot of difference. Do you come from Connecticut?
No, I come from New Jersey, but I lived in South Carolina for a little bit. Myrtle Beach?
Yeah.
South Beach.
Yeah, I've been there Christmas trees came from a machine in every place. Turns out they grow. All right. That is your